Welcome back to English 210, your listening course. Today we'll be continuing in Unit 2. As you remember, each unit has two sections, one with a conversation and the second is presentation. This is usually a longer and more continuous piece of listening, a listening passage. The subject of our unit, as you remember, is academic life. And so we're dealing with students and academic situations. So let's now look at Part 2. Look at the section here on presentation, school orientation. If you have your book, you've already looked at it. If you don't, please look at it now. Presentation, school orientation. Before you listen, pre-listening questions. What usually happens on the first day in a language program? We're going to hear today of the orientation, a very important word for you, orientation program. What information do students probably get? As you might imagine, they hear about their classrooms, their teacher, the schedule. You'll hear about that today in our presentation. How did you feel on the first day of your English program? Well, I can only guess that. Sorry, I can't hear what you're going to say. But let's preview our vocabulary as we always do. Our vocabulary: advisor, schedule, facilities, orientation, and placement test. Some of you may have already prepared this. So I'm going to now provide the solutions so you can check what you have done. And these now are the solutions. My advisor always gives me good advice. So advisor would be D, a person who helps you plan your courses. Number 2, schedule. David has a busy schedule. And we chose A, a list of activities and their times. 3, facilities. Many large universities in North America have swimming pools, tennis courts, and other sports facilities. We chose B, places or areas for special activities. 4, orientation. New workers in my company go to an orientation on their first day of work to learn all the necessary information about the company rules. So we chose E, an informational meeting is an orientation, something at the beginning. And finally, number 5, placement test. I'm not sure if my English is intermediate or advanced, so I have to take a placement test. And we chose C, an exam to find a student's correct place or level. All of these words will be important in the presentation you will hear shortly. Let's move on now to the next page. It'll be important for you to take notes on things that you are listening to. And so here at the top you see they talk about strategies in taking notes. Hints for taking notes: don't try to write everything you hear. Focus on important information. Don't write complete sentences, write keywords only. Don't write small details. In the picture we see a lady, an advisor, giving a presentation to new students. I am now going to present such a presentation, and it would be very good for you if you have a piece of paper to try and take notes on it, and then we'll see how good you did on taking notes. All right, so let's now go to your listen to the presentation. Try to take notes on it. This is the presentation from which you must try to derive the information. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the American Language Center. My name is Gene Richards, your academic advisor. You can just call me Gene. I know today is your first day at our center, so you may be a little nervous and maybe a little shy. But I want to tell you right at the beginning, if you don't understand something, please ask questions, okay? No. Listen very carefully because we're going to give you a lot of important information. Information that will make your experience here enjoyable and useful. Okay? Here we go. Now let me tell you about the plan for today. There are 3 things on your schedule. First, you'll have a placement test. This test will measure your English level. Now this placement test consists of 4 different parts: reading, grammar, composition, and of course, listening. Yes, listening. The whole placement test will take you 3 hours. Next, you will meet in small groups with a teacher. This is your orientation. This is a chance to ask about important things you need to know. For example, where to buy your books, the types of classes, where to find a roommate, things like that. This is your chance to get answers to questions. And then finally, this afternoon, we will give you a campus tour. You'll get to see the main buildings where your classrooms are. You'll see some of the sports facilities, tennis courts, swimming pool, places like that. You'll also visit the library and the computer lab. I think you'll be surprised how large and how beautiful our campus is. All right, are there any questions before we begin? Now, if you were listening carefully and you took notes, you should have noticed there were 3 main divisions, as was indicated by the speaker. He spoke about a placement test, an orientation, and a campus tour. Now, these are the extensive points that you should have noted while listening to this presentation. You can go back and listen to it again, of course, but this in the future, when you are tested, you must get information down. Let's go to the next page and see more specific information. Here again, if you were listening, you should have taken down the name of the speaker, and you should have seen the placement test was the first point. There were 4 sections. Did you get that down? Reading, grammar, composition, and listening. Did you note that it would last 3 hours? These are specific points that you should get down, and this is called intensive work. Under orientation, you should have noted they would be small groups. You should have noted information, I abbreviated info, where to get books, types of classes. And finally, there would be a campus tour. Good to write down afternoon, buildings, facilities, library. I hope you see that it is your job when listening to get down points. This will be true also when you take exams. You will have a space to get information down and then use it to answer questions. So remember, this is a very important part of this course, listening and getting information down. I cannot write it for you. You must get it down. All right, let's look at the exercise after you listen. Summarizing ideas. Now, you cannot compare your notes unless you're with someone else, but let's summarize the presentation in our own words. First of all, we heard it was orientation. Secondly, about the placement test, about the orientation period, and the campus tour. So these were the main points you needed to get down in today's presentation. We're going to review the vocabulary of this presentation in number 6. What is your daily schedule on Mondays? This would be what time you have classes, what time you eat, what time you do things. This is a schedule. Number 2, talk about the placement test. If you went to a language center, you will have taken a placement test, and they will have placed you either at beginning or intermediate or advanced. A placement test. Number 3, orientation. If you go to an orientation, you might learn new information. Some of you may have done this at some institution. Number 4, we have facilities. In our case, we were talking about a university, so the facilities were sports facilities, a library, a computer lab, also a dining hall. Anything which makes your life more convenient, easier, is a facility. And finally, advisor. Now, when you come to some institution, they may assign an advisor. In your home, probably your parents would be an advisor or your big brother. Advisor, someone who tells you what you should be doing. All right, that was your presentation. Please listen to it and be prepared when you are tested to listen to something similar. Do not memorize what you've heard, but please understand how to do it. Now, in every unit, after we do the presentation, we come to contexts. This is always part 3 of our unit. And here they're explaining the idea behind context. Let's read through it carefully this first time. In future, we will not need to. Getting meaning from context. If you don't understand everything that English speakers say, use your guessing ability. How? Listen to clues. That helps you guess. Words that you already know can be clues to new words. Grammar, stress, and intonation can also be clues to meaning. Read the sentence below. Can you guess the meaning of the new word from all the other words you know? Sentence. Basic English is a prerequisite before you can take intermediate English. Many of you may not know the word prerequisite, but when you see basic English before you take intermediate, you might guess that prerequisite means something you need to take before you can take something else. Now, we'll be doing the same type of thing in our contexts. And as they tell you below, you're going to use the clues in your context. The conversation you're going to hear is in 5 parts. I will stop after each part and listen, then you will listen to the question. You will use the clues in that section to decide what is the best answer. Now, I'm going to show you, as you have, those of you who have the book can use your book, but for those who don't have it, I'm going to turn to this page so we can see if you make the right choices when practicing this section. So here are your context answers. Here are your context answers. I hope you can read them. Okay, there we are. All right. Sorry about that. Fuzziness. All right. You see that in the first case, you are going to hear a conversation, and you must choose A, B, or C, whichever is the best choice. Now, what we're going to do, that's what you look at, but of course you are going to choose one of the answers, and so let's do the first one now together. This is your first context. You'll be doing this also on exams. Peter, Bruce, and Kenji are speaking. Let's get a medium with extra cheese and pepperoni on it. Can we get mushrooms and tomatoes too? Kenji, I don't care. Just get a large one because I'm really hungry. Now, your job is to choose. Are these people in class? Are they at the student orientation? Or are they at a pizza restaurant? Well, you should have chosen C. The clues that should have driven you to that are cheese, pepperoni, mushrooms, hungry, medium, large one. All of those are words we'd expect in the context of a pizza restaurant. Now that one you were helped by being given the clues. Let's go to the next one where you're going to be choosing testing advisor, chemistry professor, or teaching assistant. Now listen to the conversation and see which of these you think is speaking. Kenji, you told me about this place at orientation. So how are your classes going? Bruce, pretty good. Well, my chemistry class is a little boring. Professor Murphy knows the subject, but he's not a good teacher. Last week he was sick, so his TA taught the class. She was much better. You see, this TA spends a lot of time with us answering our questions and correcting our homework. From what you heard, what would be the likely meaning of TA? A testing advisor, a chemistry professor, or a teaching assistant? Well, I'll show you the solution here. What you should have chosen was teaching assistant. Now I have to get this in the right place here. All right, there. Teaching assistant. Why? Because you heard about a class professor. You heard a TA taking his place. And so teaching assistant would be the proper solution, the best choice of those three. Let's listen to the next one. Let's see if you make the same choice. Peter, really? Kenji, I was very surprised when I first came here. You know, What else is unusual for me? All the facilities. I mean, you have a swimming pool, you have 5 tennis courts, a museum, there's even a post office. This college doesn't look like the college where I come from. What does Kenji think about the Faber College campus? He thinks it's different from Japan, it's a terrible place, it's similar to Japan. The correct choice, as you see, it's different. He says, how surprising, huh? You heard unusual, surprise, not like where I came from. So those clues should have driven you to choose A. Number 4. Speaking of tennis courts, I want to play tomorrow. Can I just go there, or do I need to? Peter, you need to make a reservation. It's easy, though. Just call the tennis center. Give them your ID number. You know, your student ID? When you call, they'll give you a reservation number. You can call all day. It's open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Question 4. How can students make reservations for a tennis court? A. Go to the tennis courts between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. B. Telephone between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. C. Pay between $5 and $8. The correct choice is B, because you heard about a reservation, giving the ID number, calling between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So using the context, you should be able to make the right choice. And finally, number 5. Hey, Jack and I already have a court for tomorrow afternoon. Do you want to play doubles with us? Kenji. Sounds good to me. Can you come, Bruce? Bruce. Yeah, I have a class till 2, so I can meet you there at 2:30. What are the students planning to do tomorrow? A. Reserve a tennis court. B. Play tennis together. Or C. Go to class together. The correct choice, as you see, is B. You heard want to play, class till 2, meet at 2:30. So from this, we would say that those are the correct choices. Now these are contexts. Every unit you'll have context, using what you hear to choose the correct answer. All right, let's move on now to our next section in the unit. The next page is about body language. Here we look at the picture and we try to decide what is this person indicating. In the first picture, the person's probably saying, I don't know, you got me. I have no idea what the answer is. Number 2, a typically European way of saying, you're crazy, or that's stupid, huh? Circular motion, huh? Body language. In number 3, we see a young man with roses looking very happy. His hand is up, so we assume that he is giving these. Somebody is taking the flowers. But in 4, his hand is up, and you notice he has taken back the flowers, so we would understand he has been refused. He doesn't say anything. He tells us with his body language. Number 5, this hitchhiker doesn't need the sign. If you see someone along the road with a thumb in the air, you know he wants a ride. And number 6 and 7, typical body language today. Number 6, good, not good, huh? Ups and downs, thumbs up and thumbs down. Just a little diversion about language. Now we come to something very important, and these are tasks. At the end of each unit, there are tasks that you have to do. Now you see the example here they have done for you. It's a message. Where do you get the information? Well, you hear a passage. You hear someone speaking, and you must get down the information. To whom, from whom, the message, and the phone number. Now remember, when you take down messages, you're not writing grammatical English. You're trying to get information down. So it's enough to just put down words. You don't have to have a subject, a verb, and an object. This is not grammar. This is getting information down, just as when you take notes. Are you ready for the tasks in this unit? This is Chapter 1, Taking Down Messages. All right, let's please listen now as you hear the message. The first exam, this was the example here that you have up there from Dr. Brown's office. Kenji, this is Linda from Dr. Brown's office. I'm calling to change your appointment. Dr. Brown can't see you at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, but you can have an appointment the next day, Wednesday, at 2. I hope it's convenient. Let us know. Call us at 555-0162. So what you needed to get to understand that this was to Kenji from Dr. Brown's office and changing appointment to Wednesday at 2. Question mark to indicate response. Dr. Brown can't see you on Tuesday. Probably you don't need that. All you needed to say, change appointment Wednesday, 2 p.m. Get the message down and get the phone number. So let's now do the next ones and see how well. You have there in your book, you should have the blank section. If you don't, you can do it on a paper, and then in a moment we'll check what you have done. This is the second message. Kenji, this is Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y, Kelly from your math class. I don't know if you remember me. Well, I'm calling because I was sick this week and I missed all the homework. I wonder if you could tell me what it was. Please call me, 555-0149. Please call before 11. Now, if you took notes on that, you should have got this basic information down. To Kenji, from Kelly, math class, homework, question mark, call before 11. 555-0144. Now, 149, sorry. Now, if I'm testing you on this, I'm not going to ask you to write things down, but you have to choose. You write this down, and you must choose from your answer what the best answer is. So please remember, you must be able to take down such information. Let's go to the next one. Message 2. Hi, Peter. This is Bud, B-U-D. You know, I was wondering, there's a concert Saturday. Would you like to go? It's a Latin jazz band. Now, the good thing is I have free tickets. So if you want to go, give me a call. Now, remember, the concert starts at 8:30 in the evening. Give me a call, 555-0126. This is your chance to have a free concert. Again, the information you needed to get down: to Peter, from Bud, concert, maybe you want to put down jazz, Saturday, 8:30 p.m., free tickets, and then the number. This is getting basic information down, the same technique that you are using when you take notes. Message 3. Hello, this is Mrs. Henry from the International Student Office. I'm returning Kenji's call. I'm sorry, please understand that your papers are not yet ready. Could you please check back next week? Just call the university number, extension 4745. In this case, the key things you needed to get down: Kenji, Mrs. Henry, papers not ready, call back next week, extension 4745. We didn't put down the university number. We assume the person knows it, or they could find it out. Message 4. Hello? I'm calling from the research library at the university. I'd like to speak to Peter Riley. We found a biology book with his name and number. If it's yours, please pick it up at the front desk. Bring your student ID. Ask for Lisa or Don. So in this case, the information you needed to get down: call to Peter from research library, name and number found, biology book, pick up, front desk, Lisa or Don. No phone number was given because the person is supposed to pick it up, so you would leave that blank. Number 5, message 5. Hello, Peter. Hello, my name is Kevin Potter, P-O-T-T-E-R. You don't know me, but my advisor gave me your phone number. He said that you work with students in math. You see, I'm having problems in my math course, so could you think of helping me on my midterm exam? Could you tutor me for a while? If you would like to do so, my number is 555-0118. Thanks. Bye. Again, basic information. Call to Peter from Kevin. Refer from advisor. Help in math for midterm. How much? How much money? 555-0118. And finally, message 6. Hello, Kenji. This is Honda World Service. Your car's fixed. You can pick it up by 5 p.m. today. But as you remember, the charges are $175. Key things you need to get down to Kenji, Honda World Service, car fixed, pick up by 5, $175 charge. No phone number again. So that was our task, and that finishes our work in the first unit. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember, you'll enjoy it more if you get the book. If you have problems with it, please let me know. Thank you very much.